Hello and welcome to Joanne's Cosmic Energy Radio Show. How is everybody today? I am your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, your certified personal trainer, intuitive healer, cosmic energy reader, and a mother, a wife, and I'm here to help you be the best version of yourself in 2020. I'd like to take a moment just to thank all of you for being here and know that we are on Roku and Amazon Fire TV. And you can also check us out on YouTube if, in fact, you missed today's episode or can't watch the whole show. Just want to give a quick shout out to some of my advertising sponsors who support me in my TV show, which is Joanne's Healing Within TV show that airs every Sunday at 3 p.m. So just to know, you are here with me on the radio show, which is Joanne's Cosmic Energy. And we have a lot of cosmic energy. But just to give a shout out to some of my advertising sponsors, a real quick shout out here. Just going to name one or two of them. And I'm just going to shout out with our Irene Rodriguez, who is our healer, our Waist Beat creator, and also the Torah Advocate Wellness practitioner. And then we have Jill Ashley Huffman. She's our master transformational coach. As I said, I'm just going to shout out two for today as we have a lot to cover. So again, how are you feeling today? And I'd like to just know that today is September 9th, 2020. And that itself is amazing energy when we think about those 9 nines. Now, if you are not familiar with numerology, today is the day you're going to learn a lot about numerology, the energy of numbers. Every number has a specific vibration and frequency. And I believe every number also provides a hidden message when you really get to understand their energies. And with that being said, when we think about September is a 9 vibration, 9 frequency. The theme behind that 9 is all about transformations, letting things go and decluttering. You may really be finding yourself in the space of decluttering, cleaning out the drawers, the closets, maybe even your refrigerator, whatever have you. And it's also about, when we declutter, it's not just about the declutter of the material items, it's decluttering the whole process of your mind, body, and spirit. So it's a whole process of decluttering things out, letting things go when we think about this 9 energy vibration. So I ask you, what are you letting go of this month? What are you letting go of where you're in control of letting it go? And what are you letting go of that the universe is helping you let go? Know that anything we hold on to resistance to slows down the process of letting go. In fact, if you caught a live that I had today, I spoke about the whole process of letting go of resistance. Because anything that we're looking to create into our experience, when we hold on to resistance, that slows down the process, and for that matter, even blocks the process of having what it is you want in your life. So let go of resistance in the September energy, the entire month of September. We have, I think, 30 days of this whole process of transforming. When we think of that 9 energy, that's what it's about. How are you transforming this month? How have you transformed in the last 9 months, for that matter? I cannot believe that we are already 9 months into 2020. Can you? I cannot believe the transformations that every one of us have undergone in the last 9 months collectively, because we are all energetically connected. And what I mean by we're all energetically connected means that every one of us are experiencing each other's energies, and every one of us are experiencing the things that we are clearing out and being forced to let go of. We are all being challenged and encouraged to really transform so we can be the best version of who we are. Because who we are on a surface is not who we are on a soul level. So understanding that when we think about transforming and clearing out, it's really all about letting go of our ego and letting go of what no longer serves us. So that transformation altogether. So utilizing this 9 energy this month to really allow yourself to clear out what no longer serves you. Clear out what no longer serves. Letting it go and transitioning into a better version of who you are. So that's the 9 energy in itself. Now, when we think about all that's going on this month, which what I really want to dive into for now before my guest actually comes on is just speak to you a little bit about the moon energy For those who've been following me, whether you follow me on my live shows or you're following me here on my radio show or my TV show, know that the moon rotates every 2 to 2.5 days, sometimes 3 days for that matter, which means every 2.5 to 3 days on an emotional level, our emotions are shifting depending on what astrological sign the moon actually sits in. So, for example, if it's sitting in Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio energy, then that means we, as those three signs, it's water signs. Water signs are very emotional and intuitive. And because the moon itself connects to our emotions, it may very well mean that during that period of time, you're more emotional than usual. Now, in regards to today's energy, today's moon energy, it's all about Gemini energy. So Gemini, when we think about its home, it's all related to communication. It's all relating to what it is you're talking about and what it is you are thinking about. And interesting enough, when we think about our emotions, sometimes what tends to happen to many of us, including myself, is that we get so caught up in our thoughts that we start overthinking and overanalyzing. And when we start overthinking and overanalyzing, that creates an emotional reaction where we may tend to react based on an overboard and on an exaggeration of the whole process of what we're actually thinking about. So, and again, I want you to stay with me because when I do introduce my guests in a little while, we're going to be coming back to talk about this moon energy in regards to what's going on today energetically and how that's going to play a huge role. So when we think about the moon's energy being in Gemini, and it's all about what we're talking about, all about what we're thinking about, and then we have the sun energy, which is Virgo. Virgo, on the other hand, is all about critical, very critical, analytical, routines, schedules, structure. So now you got those two things coming together where we're talking and we're thinking, and then we have Virgo, which is all about critical, analytical, and that makes for an interesting recipe of just overthinking, where everything's going to be so much bigger than what it really is, and we're going to be full of drama, so much more than we are usually. So I'm inviting you to take a moment just to step back and ask yourself, at the time when you're having this conversation with yourself, is it really worth getting all cray cray about? And that I use cray cray in quotes because it means crazy. So I ask you to just evaluate how it is you are thinking, what it is you are thinking about, and do you really need to sit and check out every little detail that's going on? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to notice everything from the littlest details to the point on if someone tied their shoe unusually different than what the way you tie your shoe. That's how precise you're going to be looking at things. Overthinking, overanalyzing with this energy of Virgo in the sun and Gemini in the moon. Now, a lot of it also plays a huge role to where those two signs actually sit in your chart. So I invite you to go and check out your chart. Now, if you don't have a chart, I invite you to go to astro.com and put in the information that it asks, and then you can find out what your rising and moon sign is. Rising is also known as ascending, so you might see it indicated as that. Once you have the ascending/rising and your moon sign, you get a very good understanding of who you are on the soul level, not on a surface level, because who we are on the surface doesn't really matter. It's who we are on the soul level that really matters, and that's basically who we're trying to become when we think about this amazing energy. Now, I just want to talk about the sun energy just for a moment, the sun, moon, and rising sign just for a moment, in regards to when we think about what we're presenting to the world. That would be our rising sign. So whatever your rising sign is, whatever the characteristics about the rising sign, that's what you're presenting to the world, not your sun sign. Your sun sign is really who you're becoming in this lifetime. And as we spoke on already, the moon is all about your emotions. So whatever your moon sign is, that's your emotions. And whatever the moon sign is for that particular day impacts what your moon sign is. So for example, and I can only use me, my moon sign is associated to Aquarius. Now Aquarius is about overthinking, analyzing, just being in that space of constantly evaluating everything. And so in conjunction to the moon being in Gemini today, that's a lot of up here for me. And in order for me to stay grounded and not allow myself to be in that space of the overwhelm of emotions of overanalyzing everything, it's important for me to be grounded. Which again, stay with me, because when I bring my guest in, I'm going to be chatting with you about grounding techniques and why it's so important, specifically this month, as of today, going forward, to ground yourself. Now, if you are not familiar with what grounding actually means you're actually going to center yourself and connect yourself to what we like to call, and when I use the word we, healers, sound light workers, etc. Grounding yourself means you're connecting to something that's going to support you. And that something is called Mother Earth. So connecting with things that's connected to Mother Earth, such as taking a walk outside in nature, sticking your feet in grass, sticking your feet in dirt, putting your hands in dirt, putting your hands in water. And this is things that's going to help ground yourself. You can also use essential oils for that matter. There's plenty of essential oils. Should you like essential oils, you can use Vetter. You can use, let's see, there's Vetter. You can use Douglas fir. You can use Balance. And the oils that I am actually mentioning are all from the Torah. D as in dog, O, T as in Tom, E, double R, A. Those are the oils I recommend. Those are the oils that I use. And they're really great grounding oils. So what I like to do now, as we spoke about the energy of the moon, the sun, and this 9-9 energy, which we're going to talk more about as my guest comes in, I wanted to just turn around and pull out my cards and see what do we need to focus on today so we can get grounded and be in our chakra that needs our attention. So let's see what's going on. So just hold that thought. And let's see. Up there goes our card. There goes our card. Interesting enough. Communication. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that what we've been just talking about this entire time? Communication. How are we speaking? What are we delivering? What are we hearing? Communication. And we think about our chakra associated with this. It is about the high heart. It's about being in that space of compassion and love and kindness. And then when we think about the numbers, about 1 and 2. 1, a new way of communicating. How can you communicate differently than you've been this whole time? And 2, the partnerships that you're communicating with. Whether you're communicating with yourself, or you're communicating with a friend, or you're communicating with a partner, or even the spirits for that matter. Communication. 1 and 2 works out to 3. 3 is, again, all about the things we are creating, all about the things we are visualizing and bringing into this energy of communication. So how's this all sitting with you right now? How are you feeling with this energy of knowing it's all about the high heart? It's really all about learning how to communicate with more kindness and compassion, and really learning how to listen when you are communicating with somebody. Not to be in the energy of trying to come up with an answer before the conversation has even finished. So really being in that space where you can learn how to actively listen is what I just heard for you. Actively listen when we communicate. So it's not always about having to give an answer. Sometimes it's just about listening. Sometimes it's just about listening and nothing more than that. Being in that powerful space. So that's our card for today. So communication, and I'm inviting you today just to take a moment just to change the way you communicate. Change the way you communicate. And being in the high heart of compassion and kindness today. And thinking about what it is you're creating when you are communicating. Because after all, if you didn't know this already, whatever it is we are communicating about is what we're creating. So whatever it is you're talking to yourself about in your own head, that's what you're creating. You are the creator to your experience. So if there's something going on in your world right now, in your personal world right now, in your own personal experience, take a look at and think back. What have you been saying to yourself? What kind of conversations are you having that might have created this experience for you? Now, I'm a firm believer that every experience that we have is an experience to teach us something. So whether we believe we created a situation or not, the fact of it is it's going to help us in our lessons to what we're here to learn. And communication is no different. So how are you communicating, and what is it that you are creating in the process of communication? And I invite you to really think about that for the moment. So let's just dive back into that numerology energy and the whole process of this 9, where when we think about transformation, we think about letting go, we think about decluttering. What can you let go when it comes to communication? What can you transform when it comes to communication? What can you transition when it comes to communication? Those are things I want you to really sit and think about and evaluate how you can change the way you communicate. And when it comes in reference to a personal situation or even business, how can you network? How can you market? How can you serve your community better and differently by communicating? Many of us since the pandemic have been introduced to this thing called Zoom, which many of us are using. It's a form of communication, a new form of communication where we get to communicate all over the world to people all over the place. How are you using Zoom? How are you using these services that allow us to share the things that we do? How are you using this to connect with family members that may not be so close to you physically, where you can't just go to their house, where you can connect with them through this amazing technology? Think about these things. How are you communicating? And how can you use this energy that we have going on between the Virgo energy and the moon energy, Gemini energy? How can you use this to help you transform to become the best version of who you are? I ask you that question. I do ask you that question. So what I like to do is we're going to take a quick moment to take a break, and we're going to come back, and when we do, my guest is going to be here, and we're going to dive into a whole lot of other conversations in addition to the transformation, the communication, and the moon energy, and being grounded. So again, keep those pen and papers with you, because you're going to want to write some notes down, because I have a whole lot of notes to share. But we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
When you open yourself up to actual energy work, makes that recovery progress so much faster. That recovery is possible. You do not have to live as a victim until your last days. You have unbelievable strength, and I know that because you're still here. Do you want to create something completely unrecognizable with your life? I can show you how.
Hello, are you an entrepreneur, healer, author, publisher, life coach, or living in purpose? I am Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the host of Joanne's Healing Within TV show, and I am currently accepting guest applications for those of you who are ready to shine your light, inspire others, and share your story, and step in front of a much larger audience such as Roku, Amazon Fire TV, YouTube, and of course Facebook. I am currently offering special rates for those of you who are interested in inspiring others and shining your light. Email your bio and story to healingwithin76@gmail.com. Hello and welcome back to Joanne's Cosmic Energy Radio Show. For those of you who are just tuning in, we are on Roku and Amazon Fire TV, where you can catch us there should you not be able to stay the entire time here. We're also on YouTube. And I was just chatting about this energy that we have going on for today, for September 9th, 9/9. Now, I'm also speaking about the moon's energy, letting you know that I'd like you to really check in with your emotions on a day-to-day, because on a day-to-day, every 2.5 days, the moon itself changes over to a different astrological sign. And that has a huge impact on how we are feeling emotionally speaking. And where that moon sits, and depending on where that moon sits in your chart, will determine on how you're actually feeling. And I don't know about you, but I sort of like to know why I feel a certain kind of way. So when I wake up in the morning and I'm feeling a little off course, I go right away and check out my forecast regarding where that moon is sitting. And that moon gives me a lot of information to why I might actually be feeling the way I'm feeling. Now, obviously, I can't change the direction to where the moon is, but what I can do is do some techniques that I know, some tools that I have to help me shift my energy a little bit so I'm not in such a low frequency low frequency vibration because of wherever the moon might be sitting. And as mentioned, the moon today is sitting in Gemini energy. Gemini is all about talking, all about thinking. And for me, in for my chart, the moon sits in Aquarius, which is all about analyzing everything. So it's a really interesting mix for me. And it's an emotional concept. So what is it I'm evaluating it? What is it that I'm thinking about? What is it I want to talk about? And I invite you to do the same thing, to ask yourself and find out, where is the moon in your chart? And if you're not sure where that is, you can either go to astro.com and put in your information and find that out, or feel free to leave a comment here, and I'll be more than happy to responding to you and giving you that information based on the moon. Because I do believe it's important. I do believe it's important for us to know where the moon is and why we might actually be feeling the way we're feeling. And when we can have an explanation to why we're emotionally feeling a certain kind of way, it helps us, especially for us women out there. Men, not so much. I'm sure you guys are emotional as well, but women tend to run a little higher on their emotions than men do. And I invite you just to do that. But I'm going to now introduce my guest that's here because I'm so damn excited for today's show. We have so much to cover. And I'm going to just introduce her first name because I'm going to screw up her last name. But anyway, she'll give you that whole thing. Her first name is Krista. She's an intuitive healer, teacher, and life coach. And Krista, I'm so damn excited to have you here. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you, Joanne, for having me here. I am so excited to be here with you.
Yes, yes, I'm excited too. I don't. Were you able to watch the show before coming on?
No, actually, I wasn't. I'll be honest. I was listening to music to pump myself up so that I could be more alive. Because where it's 3:22 your time, it's 9:22 my time. Oh, and
Yes,
in the evening, and I've been
yes.
up since 5 a.m. So
Yeah, bless your soul because it is late for you. I mean, if that was 9:22 p.m. my time, I'd probably be jumping through the ceilings right now because I get really energized at night.
yeah, my energy time is more in the morning, but that's okay. Today it was all good. So I was listening to music to pump myself up. So I didn't really get to hear what you were saying, and it wasn't for lack of not wanting to. I just thought, I was going to try to be all I could be for
That's
everybody
okay.
tonight.
It's all good. So I'll just sort of recap. I was
All
saving a
right.
lot. I was saving a lot of the information that you and I are going to be sharing for when you came
Yeah,
on. So I didn't want to ruin the surprise regarding all this amazing energy that we have going on,
I
and
know.
the different ways that you look at it versus the ways I look at it. Because again, for our viewers, both of us have a background in numerology, and
Hmm.
both of us are intuitive healers,
Hmm.
and both of us are teachers. The only thing
Yes.
we are a little separate in is that she's a life coach and I'm not. But that's okay. So, in regards to this amazing, powerful energy, and I'm sure our viewers are sitting at the edge of their chair because I keep putting them on hold, like, oh, just wait, just wait. So, sharing the insight of the September 9, the 9-9, what does that 9-9 mean to you today, Krista?
Well, it actually, 9 as a general, well, nine from the numerology perspective. So we'll start with nine. It means completion for me. It's the end of the cycle because one is the beginning, nine is the end of the cycle. So it's the completion. So the fact that it's 9 today, it means that we're completing a cycle, and so when you say completing a cycle, so many people will think of, well, think of it as a period at the end of a sentence.
Yes.
It's not a period necessarily at the end of a sentence as much as it's a cycle. So it's like, think of it as the washing machine.
Yes,
So
exactly.
it's done with the, the rinse aspect of it. And so you're moving into something else and something new. And so you're beginning something new. For me, the significance and a lot of it, so, our viewers may or may not know, you and I have been working together with other things with another friend of ours. So we've been in a lot of collaboration and a lot of discussion together. And so one of the other really cool things, and I've been like on the edge of my seat just waiting for today, because, we were talking about how the fact that or not Mercury, the other M planet, Mars,
Mars.
is going into retrograde today. And so for me, the energy of that all, and because I'm kind of on the tail end of my moving from the west coast of the United States to partially to the east coast of the United States for a little bit, now here to the Netherlands, to bring everybody kind of where I'm at. I'm in the Netherlands. um so I'm at this completion. So, I'm ending something, yet as I'm ending it, so many new things are happening too. So you can be really excited. For me, I'm excited about just the mesh of it all, that completion, that wonderful, knowing that I don't want to say that it's final, but knowing that there's something new on the horizon. It's like watching the sunset and waiting, getting up to see that sunrise in the morning. The other
Yes.
aspect about today, which you and I have been talking about now a number of times, is of course it equates to 22.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
so I love the number 22, not because I loved being 22, but although 22 is a pretty awesome age. Um, and but for me, it's a master number, and it's about building. And I think so much of where I am and where I think so many people are is that they're building, they're in this place of building a new perspective on what their life is going to show up as, what their life is going to be, even their own desires.
Yeah.
That's all building, right? So
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
so today it's just, for me, it's an awesome, exciting, fun day.
yes. Yes. And I also what I want to like to do for the viewers is just cap a little bit because again we may have a lot of new viewers showing up
Oh,
in the word
definitely.
retrograde, just to give them an understanding. When we speak about retrograde, any planet that retrograde, the energy of that planet sort of slows down and theoretically goes backwards, giving
Yeah.
us a chance to retrograde, meaning reflect on the energy of that planet.
Hmm.
Now, Mars itself is all about war, all
Yes.
about anger, all about frustration, all about impatience. And now, those of us who may be working pretty much from the ego perspective may very much
Mm.
be feeling that space of angry, frustrated, not feeling like the train is moving fast enough to get them to where
Hmm.
they got to go. However, and I actually read this last night, and I thought this was a beautiful thing to share. When we think about this Mars retrograde, it's almost like saying let's put the foot on the brake,
Hmm.
but it's only to slow down, not to
Hmm.
stop.
Yeah.
And because Mars happens to be stationed in Aries energy,
Hmm.
Aries and Mars are connected. They're friends.
Yeah. Hmm.
Mars loves to be in Aries energy. Now, Aries is, for those of you who are aware of astrology, Aries is a fire sign, which means action, which means do, which means go, which means I want some action. Now, when you think about the ego and the whole process of being impatient and wanting to fight with everyone because you want to be in war, it's going to present a lot of energy behind that.
Mm.
Now, I myself would like to invite our viewers to utilize that energy in reference that if you want to aggressive be aggressive in the things you want to create. as opposed to being aggressive with people that you're going to be debatable with, because it's not going to get you anywhere. Use this energy to pause, but to go, to be creative. And as Krista was saying, with this 22 energy day, which is all about the partnerships, and it's a master number, so it's not your partnerships on a human level. This is about really challenging yourself to, what's the word I'm looking for?
To connect on it's connecting on a higher level, up on the etheric level,
Yes,
which is where your higher self is. And
exactly.
so it's not, I mean, yes, it's you and I connecting on this level. Yes. However, it's also saying, okay, I want to up my game, and I want
Yes,
to
yes.
connect with people up here.
Exactly, exactly.
And
It's no longer about the surface. It's about
now,
taking it it's taking it out of your comfort zone. That's what I just heard. Coming out of the
yes.
comfort zone of what you're used to and taking that
Hmm.
partnership to the next level. And when we
Yeah,
speak about
definitely.
partnerships, we're not just speaking about business partnerships. This is also about your intimate partnerships and family unions as well. Taking those relationships to a different level where it's out of the ego and getting into that soul purpose and people, and connecting and building this amazing relationship or partnership, in whether it's business or personal.
Oh,
So that's what,
definitely.
like for me, this 22 day on a 9/9 day, on the day Mars goes retrograde,
I know, it's like, wow.
it's like, I don't know about you, Krista, but I feel like someone stuck me on a charger last night at for like 8 hours, and I woke up this morning like,
Oh yeah, yeah, it is. And I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, just lots of things going on. And I couldn't slow my brain down enough, right? To get my body and everything. And then we had to get up early and everything else. And so, but it's been that way. I have felt like I've been on definitely a a stagecoach with, with 8 to 10 horses, and just going, just
yes,
moving
yes.
like
And in conjunction to you not being able to get your thoughts together, so to speak,
yeah.
that could be a contribution to the moon's energy from today, because that's in Gemini.
Mm,
And
yeah.
Gemini is all about what we're talking about, what people are talking about, and also what we're thinking about.
Yeah.
So, along with all this energy we have going on, of course, individually, every one of us are thinking about different things.
Mhm.
And it could just have us in this overdrive. Now, it's really interesting because before we came on today to the show, I was curious to know where our wonderful planet Mars is connected to our chakras. And interesting enough, it's connected to the root chakra. And I find it to
Yeah.
be really amazing that it's connected to the root chakra, because that's the one thing with Mars being in retrograde that we really need to do is stay
Is
rooted,
ground. Yeah.
is stay grounded, stay
Mhm.
connected to something that helps you to feel supported. Because
Mhm.
when we are in this retrograde energy and all this other energy that's coming in, because besides today where Mars is retrograding, we also have another planet that's going to go direct.
Mhm.
Today's what? Today's the 9th. So we
Tonight.
have the
Yep.
10th, we have the 11th. In 3 days from now, we have
Mhm.
another planet that's going direct. And that planet is our planet of Jupiter. And Jupiter is all about the expansion. That for the last, let me see, I have my notes here because there's so much to know. I can't remember this all in my head. Since May 14th to September 12th, Jupiter has been retrograde, which means
Yeah.
it's all about our expansion and also about our spiritual growth. So
Mhm.
now that it's going direct,
Yeah.
now we're in the space to like expand and grow, spiritually speaking. And using today's energy, this 9/9 energy, the 22 day to build.
Mhm.
Now for you, Crystal, when you think about this Jupiter energy going direct today,
Yeah.
and so not today, the 12th,
Yeah.
and
On
it's
the
all
12th.
about the expansion and your spiritual growth. How does, like, what is that? What do you start to think about for you?
Well, for me, just for a personal aspect, we all, so each time we expand and we grow, it doesn't mean that we are necessarily going backwards. What it means is that we're actually, I see it as going up. We're elevating, right? And it could be the same lessons, and it could be the same things that we experience. So in some ways, you'll hear people say, why do I feel like that that it's Groundhog Day over and over and over again? Or and for me, I'm like, is it really that it's showing up as Groundhog Day for you? Or is it that it's the same, it's a similar lesson or the same lesson, but you're actually elevating with each thing? And
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of what I'm seeing with Jupiter this upcoming time, only because it's just the global sense of everything that has been happening. And so as individuals, we'll each have our own expansion, but as a global collective, our expansion due to the situations that have been brought upon us as a globe, as I mean, this is not nationwide, this is global, is definitely going to um, be I think a very, I don't want to say a positive influence, because if I say that, then people will be like, Krista, you said it was going to be positive, and well, then it became another shit show. Sorry.
Well, I actually want to.
However,
I want to jump on that for 1 second because I'm glad you said that, and I really like to help the viewers see things differently,
oh,
because
definitely.
because when Krista does say it's going to be a positive
Mhm.
situation, the reality of it all is going to be a positive situation.
Mm.
But you sometimes have to go through. It's like the best analogy I like to say is like when your toilet gets all flooded and it
Mhm.
all has to come up. So you might actually have to go through the shit. I'm hoping we can curse. Sorry if we can't, Bobby.
I'm like,
You
no
gotta go
clue.
through the stuff in order to get to the positive space. And that's a
Mhm.
part of the whole nine energy of transforming and completing things. So yeah,
Yeah.
I totally agree that, Krista, go ahead and use that word positive, because I think at the end of it all, the person will get to a positive space on this, which is important to know.
Yeah, and that's it. And it's so, and the way you just described it, I think is ideal, and it is perfect. And it's very real, and it's very realistic, because so many people think, oh, those of us who are in the woo woo, right? We only talk about things in the sparkly positive. Well, you know what? I love sparkles, and I may be the most positive person that people encounter. However, it doesn't mean that I don't have to trudge through a little bit of the septic system to get there.
Exactly, exactly. And I'm
Okay.
glad you brought that up, because again, for the viewers, when each and every one of us as healers, whether we're intuitive healers or light workers, whatever it is, even we
Mm.
go through the experience of the shit coming up. And I
Oh,
think
yeah.
sometimes we go through it a little more challenging because we are in
Yeah.
that higher vibration. So our lessons are a little
Oh,
more intensified. I always like to say to the average person who is on their journey,
well,
when your experiences are that challenging, it just means you got a bigger purpose for why you are here on earth. You got big shoes to fill, and that's why you experience the things you experience. So when your experiences are lighter, your shoes are not so big. But I also want to say too that as you do move into your experiences, your shoes will get a little bigger. I do
mhm.
believe that your shoes get a little bigger, where as you spiritually grow, you're growing into your purpose. And
Mhm.
whatever that purpose is, it's a big purpose. So what I also like to do is I want to just cap on some other important dates, and we're going to just share some feedback here together, you and I, Krista. So we just
Okay.
recently had the full moon in Pisces energy on September 2nd.
Yes.
Yeah, and you and I love the moon. I mean, we can have a whole 5 hour show just on the moon.
Oh God, yes, please.
And what I like the viewers to understand is when this particular moon was in Pisces, what it basically is all about, it's about resonating with your feelings and your intuition playing together. So it's really about your feelings and your intuition playing together with this particular moon that came in. And when we do have this full moons, again, going back to that nine energy, is about letting things go that no longer serve us.
Mhm.
So for you, since the full moon was September 2nd, and this is
Yes.
already September 9th, what have
Mhm.
you felt with this full moon for yourself that you've already seen the whole process of letting go of?
Oh boy, girl, that is a loaded question.
All right, let's keep it to a
Um,
minimum now.
I'll keep it to a minimum. No, honestly, it really was. This past full moon was very much about emotion and intuition, not just for me, but our entire family. We've gone through. We've been moving since March, and we've had since this time last year. I mean, a bunch of things. It just is like, that 5 pound bag, right? That you put 10 pounds of stuff in.
Oh
Yeah, it's
yes,
been one of the, yeah, we've had all that. And it seems like that bag didn't just expand, it kind of, the whole burst at the bottom sort of thing with that past moon. So yeah, so there's been a lot. However, with that, and it goes all about talking about, going through the septic system in order to come out on the positive side. It really has, because you have to sometimes let that all come out, and so that you can actually then get to that nitty gritty. And it's like, okay, we have to let this go, we have to release it, whether it's physical, whether it's emotional, whether it's a combination of both, whether it's an actual item. They're items, and when you're unpacking boxes, let me tell you the amount of emotions that you can pack in a box.
yes, that is so true. That
And
is so
so,
true. That is so
let
true.
me, yeah. And as you're opening that box and you're pulling the stuff out, and it just, yeah. So for us, definitely, I think that was the other reason why for today, I was really excited because it is 9/9 energy. And I knew that, after the conversations that you and I've been having and just watching and seeing everything, I was like, today is is a mark of a new beginning, because we have been letting go. I've been cleaning and clearing energetically, because I am, of course, an energy worker, right?
Yeah.
And so energetically, I have been clearing our house and using all kinds of other things as we've been just purging. But you have to do that. I always tell people energy is like cobwebs.
Oh,
It collects in corners, and you don't realize that you have sometimes those cobwebs until they get wicked dusty.
yes, yes, that is true.
And it's okay to go around and dust, just and remove that energy. That's why I like, smudging, because that smudging for me helps me to remove those cobwebs. There are various other things I do as well, but that one's just a really easy one that anybody can do easily in their life. And I use white sage just to is my go-to, although I also use Palo Santo, and every now and again I use eucalyptus. But you have to be I have real eucalyptus leaves from Australia that I brought back with me, and I do not recommend using that unless you are trained. But
Mm, interesting. Yes, yes. I just had to change directions here because my phone was gonna die.
yes, I was like, were we needing to get to the charger?
Yes, we did. Yes, so I was so happy I could be solo with that. Yes, as we move. So my apologies if anyone got a little dizzy as we were traveling.
Hey.
Yes, it's part of the Mars retrograde, guys. I'm sorry because in my actual chart, Mars sits in Aries. That's where it's actually stationed. So it's really making me very energetic.
Keep moving, girl. Keep moving.
Yes, I know. So here we spoke about the full moon energy, which is on September 2nd, which was in
Yeah.
Pisces.
Yes.
And really exciting because when we have a full moon, shortly later, about 2 weeks later, we get a new moon. Now,
Love
as
it.
we mentioned, full moon is all about letting things go, clearing things out so we can make that space for the new moon energy, which is all about new things coming in. And as Krista just shared with every one of us, she's got a lot of new. She's got a new home, a new location. She's in a
Yep.
whole new world, so to speak.
I
So
am.
think about this new moon. It's in Virgo energy, and Virgo is all about the schedule,
Yes.
the routines,
Hmm.
organizing, and also it's about our exercise and dietary habits. So
Hmm.
many people might be actually reflecting on their exercise routines and how they are eating. So don't be surprised if that shows up. Yeah, do not be surprised if that shows up for each and every one of us. And the new moon takes place on September 17th. Now, if you happen to be sensitive like Krista and I, we start to feel this energy roughly, give and take about 5 days. I know I feel the energy coming in about 5 days before it's actually here. How about you, Krista?
Yeah, usually, definitely between 3 and 5 days. It
Yes.
depends. I find for me is it depends where the moon is going to be sitting. Virgo energy for me, I will probably start feeling it sooner. My daughter, Genevieve, who is still living with us, is a Leo. She's a cusp baby for Leo and Virgo, and yeah, I
Yes.
will start feeling that.
Yes. And I'm glad you said that because, interesting enough, that's my opposition sign because I'm a Pisces sun. However, my daughter is a Virgo sun, so I get to feel that energy too. So, but
Hmm.
I won't feel it as much as I just recently felt this full moon because I was actually in my sun sign. But
Yeah.
very interesting energy that we have going. And for again the viewers, for them to understand and even appreciate this new moon energy, this is a really great time to write out your intentions that you would like to see come in
Yeah.
this new moon's energy. Krista, if you can share like maybe one of your tips to what you do during a new moon, like one of your new moon rituals.
One of my new moon rituals, actually, and I have a little note, is these, I love this size or the 3x5 card size, is I write what my intention is. And I always try to keep it really simple. My intentions is it's like one major to create, right? When you're trying to create, because it's the cycle of the moon. So it's from new moon to new moon. And people, I think, lose track of how long that intention actually is. And it's 28 and a half days.
Oh,
So just to give you that idea. So it's not like you're doing an intention for a year or a quarter or anything like that. That's a bit different. But when you do a new moon intention, I we as human beings are okay with doing 3 tasks. I was going to do three. That's not right. 3 tasks.
that
Three
works.
tasks.
Three. No,
There you
this
go.
is not three.
Three right
No, this
here.
is
This is
three. Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
and this is three too. I'll do it the American way, and then I'll do it the European way. There we go.
Yes.
Hey, got to be when in Rome, right? So but we can only really handle three major things at a time. So what I would tell people is think of one major intention, and that intention may be, and I'm going to correlate it more so to where I'm at. So during the new moon, my intention is my major thing will be to have all my pictures, clocks, anything that hangs on the wall. That's pretty major. So if you think about everything throughout your entire house, if that's your intention during, to set for the new moon, that's quite a huge intention. And
Yes.
then I can pick two other smaller intentions. Maybe my other small intention will be to make sure that my bookshelves are all organized. That's a small intention, right? And maybe another small intention is to make sure that I'm trying to think of another project, is to make sure my guest room is finally, sorted and organized. Now, that one, people might, I mean, if you actually look at it, because it's my storage room slash guest room, that maybe qualify also as a large intention. But if I can set that intention, with the understanding that the expectation may be it rolls, but you don't want to be doing like three major things. It's like, yes, I'm going to get all my pictures up. I'm going to write a book and publish it. And I am going to have, 1,000 new clients.
Now, Krista,
I appreciate that.
Krista, I have to jump in here and say something. So, I mean, theoretically, if your goal is to get all your pictures and things, clocks on the wall, and you and I are in the middle of putting together a book.
Yes, ma'am. That's our partnership intention. I'm
Yes.
talking personal intentions.
Okay, there you go. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because again, letting the viewers understand that when we do set intentions, we want to set intentions for both. We want to set intentions for our personal life,
Yeah.
ourselves. We want to set
Mhm.
intentions for our business or our job. And then you want to set an intention for your relationship. So should you
Yes.
be married, you might want to sit down and set an intention to what you would like your marriage to look like in the next 28 days. If you're in a relationship where you're not married yet, what do you and your partner want that relationship to look like in the next 28 days? So
Yeah.
it's not just about focusing on just your personal. You could do little things for every area, the big areas,
Yeah.
yourself, your business, and your relationship. The
Yeah.
big areas. Three,
Definitely.
three things focusing rather than, like setting a theme to what it should look like for each area. And you have 28 days
That's
to
it.
accomplish this goal. Now, Krista, because we are running out of time, and like I said, you and I could talk all day, I
We
would like to
can.
give you a really, really quick cosmic energy soul reading. Are you open to it?
I am always open to it, girl. I love your readings.
All right, so let's see what we have in store. And while I'm
Oh,
shaking up the cards, just let the viewers know how they can reach you.
okay, so guys, the best way you guys can reach me seriously right now is on Facebook. Go to my Facebook page, which is Dimensional Healing with Krista. And you can reach me there. I am getting much better. I've been posting daily, but I'll get much better with doing my posts. You'll have to forgive me because I am in, the flux of moving in. However, if you have a question, you message me, whatever it is, I am back with you guys in under 24 hours. Another way, if you really want to come up with me or get in touch with me, is you can email me, which is dimensionalhealingwithkrista@gmail.com. And
All
I
right.
love chatting with everybody.
All
Yes,
right, so
ma'am.
there you have that. And like I said, we're gonna do this quick because we're running out of time. This
Okay,
is
okay.
so appropriate for you. It's a master teacher.
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
important for you to connect with the third eye so you can begin to see all your dreams and desires. And you're gonna
Mhm.
love this number. It's an 11, 3 and 8.
Perfect.
What it is you are creating, and the harmony and balance you are bringing out to the world upon your creations. That 11
Mhm.
energy that serves, and knowing that when we think about the 11 energy for our viewers, anytime you see the number 11, know that that's letting you know the portal is thin between the physical and the spiritual, and it gives you that opportunity to connect on a higher level. That's your card, Krista. How's that
Thank you.
resonate?
Oh, it actually does. I got goosebumps. So, you know me, that's a good thing because, yeah, that's resonating with what my intentions I've set all day. I've been actually working with a bunch of different things today that, yeah, perfect.
Awesome, awesome. So yeah, so again, I'm gonna have to bring Krista on again because we have so much we could share and chat about. We could talk for hours. We really can.
We
But for
really
but,
can.
but for today, because the show only goes until 4 o'clock Eastern time, it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, again, just want to remind everybody to join me this Sunday at 3 p.m. for Joanne's Healing Within TV show, and I'll have another awesome guest there. And just stay grounded, guys, because there's a lot of energy coming in. I'll do a live at a later date today, at a later time today, rather, to share all the other dates, because I had a whole page of notes and didn't get to them all, because we could talk. We could talk. But with all that being said, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for being here. Remember to share, like, and comment on today's show. And thank you so much. Have a blessed day. Thank you, Krista, for being here. It was awesome. And got to get you back on again.
All right, great. Well, thank you for having me, Joanne. We'll see you
Thank
guys
you.
later. Thanks.
Bye
Bye.
bye.
Mwah.
Bye bye.